Legos, which are things that you've probably seen, these little black and white squares all over the place. They're a fairly new technology. They were invented in 1994 by Toyota as a way to track vehicle parts for auto manufacturers. And they've now come into mainstream, and they're very effective in the museum use. So what they can do is they can actually launch web pages to access content, so you can go to any online content like a web page, videos if you want to, or any type of multimedia content such as MP3 players or games, anything you want that you can access. And if you haven't seen the archivist one that's in the middle, go take a peek at it at some point. As far as invasion of the QR codes are, if you haven't seen them on packaging, I don't know where you've been because they're all over the place. You can see them on food. McDonald's uses them as a way to get nutritional information, so if you want to know how long you have to go on the treadmill, just click on the QR code to burn off that Big Mac. Business cards are using them, and as well mapping. So there are advantages to it. You are using current technology at no cost to you, promotional opportunities, it's an interactive experience, provides interpretation at a museum if you don't have the staff, and you can attract a much younger demographic to your museum because all the kids are using that. I'll talk about the Neanderthal in a little bit. There are disadvantages to QR codes. They are accessible only to a minority of visitors because not everybody has a camera-equipped cell phone, which you require. It requires internet connectivity, which your site may not have. Visitors may be unfamiliar with the technique of scanning, and there might be some confusion of why visitors are scanning that code. What are they going to get out of it when they're scanning it? To actually generate a QR code is quite easy. There are lots of free online ones. This is the one we use, which is Kway. And essentially all you have to do is you have to link whatever website you want, just type it into the information. You can select the size of the QR code from small, medium, and large. Hit generate, and presto, you have a unique QR code. To actually get the QR code onto your text or however you're using it, you just cut and paste it just like you would normally in a document. The only thing you need to keep in mind is keep some white space around it. For the camera to be able to read it, it needs a little bit of white space around the outside of the QR code. It's free to do online. First time we used it at the City of Waterloo Museum was for a recent exhibit called In Case You're Curious, or ICYC, which is texting lingo. We have quite a large demographic of youth because we're in a mall in the museum. We wanted to engage the youth. So as you can see, we used a QR code at the very bottom of our poster. People could click onto that and it would go right to our website. When they came into the museum, we had an explanation on how they could use their phones to access the QR codes. So BlackBerry already has a QR code reader or scanner built in. iPhone, I'm sure it's probably in the newest iPhone right now that you can do it. And Androids, you can download apps. It was very easy. They could do it right there if they needed to. So this is a picture of how we used our QR codes. We had certain artifacts that we had taken that we wanted to link to either videos or some more information because Karen and I are the only two at that site. We're not always available for interpretation, so it gave them the ability to see something that we couldn't show in the museum setting that we had. So when they went up to that artifact, they would be given this so they could either watch it on their phone, or we also offered visitors the opportunity to take a look at that video or that link by a monitor that we had set up in the museum. So they could just click on it so that every visitor had the opportunity to see it. One of the most interesting ways that this technology is being used that I came across was in the museum in Poland. They had closed their collection, and what they did is they decided in the reopening they were going to use QR technology with augmented reality. So what they did is they set up these vignettes for the paintings, and they allowed actors to come in and actually act out what was in the painting. So as a visitor, you would come with a phone, you'd hit the QR code, and it would show you a little acted out vignette of what that painting was depicting. It was such a popular thing that it actually sold out 4 months in advance, just because this new technology brought in youth that wouldn't be engaged in any other way. As far as the Neanderthal, I just want to go back to that as well. That was used by the Smithsonian, And what they did is they offered a link. If you had a phone, you could click on a QR code. You could upload a picture of a Neanderthal. It was called a Neanderthal. This was the exhibit. A photo of a Neanderthal that you could put your face into to make you look like a Neanderthal, and you could immediately link it to your email or into Facebook. So free advertising for that museum. It was such a popular thing that they expanded it to other programs as well. So QR codes, free technology, you can do it just like that, and it engages a whole different segment of clientele or visitors to your museum. If you have any questions on how to do it, I'd be happy to answer. Thanks.